Hi everyone, so good to have you here today. Today we're looking at June 2026, at what's shifting right now on a global level and in your personal everyday life. And I can tell you up front, a lot is moving and it's moving in the right direction. But before we get into it, let me give you a quick map of what we're covering. We look at the storm of the last few months, at what's clearing up now, at the big theme of clarity, which is showing up everywhere, at the political picture and what's happening in the collective. And at the end, I'll give you concrete things to take with you into your June. Let's rewind for a moment. The past few months have been intense. Wars, wild events, one headline after another. We barely had time to process anything before the next thing was on the table. Imagine walking through a snowstorm or a sandstorm. Everything is flying at you. You can't see anything. You can't plan. You can't take decisions. All you can do is stand still, hold on, and wait for it to pass. That was the last few months. No strategy mode, just intuitive reacting, enduring, getting through. A lot of it took us to our limits. Relationships were tested. Things we thought we'd process came back up. Nerves were frayed. And on top of all that, you still had to function. Job, family, daily life, responsibilities. Everything kept running while the storm raged inside. And you made it through. That is not a small thing. Even if nobody tells you, I'm telling you, you did well. And now something is happening. The fog is lifting. Maybe you've noticed it yourself in totally different places. Little rays of light are suddenly breaking through. A good conversation here, an unexpected turn there, a decision that suddenly makes sense, a door that opens, a person who unexpectedly comes back into your life, a project that suddenly starts to flow. This isn't imagined, this is real, on every front. Something good is happening right now. Not loud, not spectacular, but you can feel it. We were cleared out over the last few months, cleaned up. Whatever heavy emotions came up, anger, exhaustion, grief, frustration, they were allowed to come out, unfiltered. And exactly because of that, there is now space for something new. You have created room, maybe without even noticing. And that brings us to one of the central themes of this phase, a new clarity. For years, really since COVID, we were caught between confusion, fear, and constant alarm. We often didn't know what to believe, who to believe, what ground we still had under our feet. It was a constant state of what's coming next. That confusion is fading now. You can feel it. And that's not a minor detail, that is huge. People are starting to recognize again who they really are, what they really want, what fits them, and what no longer does. You might notice this in yourself. Things you were uncertain about a year ago are suddenly crystal clear. Decisions you've been putting off for ages are falling into place almost effortlessly. You suddenly know who's good for you and who isn't, which job actually fits you, which relationships carry you, and which ones only exist out of habit. This clarity is the greatest gift of this phase. Hold on to it, trust it. It's not random. It's a result of everything you've been through in the last few years. Smoothing your feathers, setting your course. That's what it's all about now. Coming back to yourself, looking at where you stand. We can do something now that hasn't been possible for a while. Plan. Make new plans. Adjust your goals. Straighten your path. Ask yourself a few questions. What is really important to me? What plans did I have, and do they still fit who I am? Which goals do I want to adjust? Where do I need to straighten my path again? What gets to stay and what gets to go? You don't need the answers right now, but ask the questions, write them down, let them sit with you. You'll see in this phase, when you really listen to yourself, the answers come much faster than usual. But heads up, no illusions. There's one thing I have to say clearly, otherwise the whole message gets twisted. Don't fall for the illusion that everything's going to be easy from now on. That would be naive, and it would be unfair to you if I tried to sell you that. Life is change, period. And change always brings challenges with it. That was true, it is true, and it will be true in the coming month too. But, and this is the key point, we are moving into a different phase now, a calmer one, a slower one. One where the dust isn't flying everywhere, a phase where we can breathe again, think again, make decisions again with the ground being pulled out or without the ground being pulled out from under us in the process. This isn't the end of challenges, but is the breather we all needed. And in this breather, something new is growing, something more stable, something more conscious. Use this phase. Allow yourself to enjoy it. Politically, a lot is happening too, and I think that belongs in an honest energy update. Those who are in the wrong positions are slowly reaching the end. You can see it, you can feel it. Their power is crumbling, not with a big bang, but piece by piece, almost unnoticed, and that's exactly how it should be. Big revelations are coming. Topics that have been kept under wraps for a long time are coming to the surface. The topic of aliens, for example, that once stayed a taboo much longer. Other truths that many people have suspected will also be confirmed. People are seeing more clearly. They're not so easily confused anymore. They question, they verify, they decide for themselves. What we're witnessing is something like the last stand. The old guard is still clinging desperately to power and refusing to admit they've already lost. Sometimes it looks absurd, sometimes desperate, but it's the last gasp. We see it with the supposed new disease threats too. Epidemics get announced and barely anyone believes they'll actually happen. That playbook doesn't work anymore. It's done. That's not stubbornness, that's maturity. We've learned to tell the difference between what's real and what's being staged for us. And no one can take that away from us anymore. We have grown up. Which brings us to another big theme. We've grown up as a collective, more conscious, more awake. We've learned not to believe everything we're told, no matter who's telling us. We check, we question, we listen to our gut, and that's the best thing that could have happened to us as a society. We freed ourselves. We won't let ourselves be made small anymore. And many of us won't let ourselves be divided anymore. That's a huge step. For years, people tried to place us off against each other along political lines, vaccination status, lifestyle, you name it. For many of us, that doesn't work anymore. We can appreciate each other in spite of or because of our differences. We don't have to agree on everything to treat each other with respect. That's what being grown up looks like. We've understood that we're all part of something bigger. And for that, I want to give you an image to hold in the back of your mind. Imagine a huge puzzle. Every piece has a different shape, a different color, a different edge. None is better. None is worse. None is wrong. But every piece is needed for the picture to be complete. Keep this image with you. The next time you meet someone who has a completely different opinion than you, think of the puzzle. That person is not better, not worse, not wrong. They're just a different piece in the same picture. It changes everything when you really take this in. Discussions feel different, conflicts lose their edge, and you start to see something valuable in people you used to dismiss. Which brings us to the last big theme for today. It's time we measure people by what they do, by the outcome of their doings, not by what they say, and not by how they present themselves to the world. A person's character shows in their actions, period. Words are easy, performance is easy. But what someone actually does, especially when no one is watching, that tells you who they truly are. And at the same time, be careful with your judgment. Often something about another person triggers us, and in truth, it has nothing to do with them. An old wound in us got touched, or we have a picture in our head of how someone should be, how they should talk, how they should behave. And then it's worth being honest with yourself. Who actually set that standard? Am I myself flawless? Do I have the right to judge others? A lot of people judge others by their own personal yardstick, and that leads to friction and division every single time. It costs us energy we could spend so much better elsewhere. As long as no one is restricting your freedom and they're staying within the law, every person gets to express themselves however they want. Live and let live. If you take 3 things from this video today, let it be these. 1. You made it through the storm. That's not a small thing. Honor that. And now let yourself breathe again. 2. A new clarity is coming in. Trust it. It's showing you who you are and what you actually want. 3. Remember the puzzle. Every person has their place, even the one you're struggling with right now, even you yourself. Make new plans, adjust your goals, straighten your path again. No rush. The energy is on your side right now. And remember, this doesn't mean everything is going to be easy from now on. Challenges will keep coming, that's life. But we're moving into a phase where we can finally catch our breath again. Use it. June isn't a sprint. June is a clear exhale and a conscious new start. I'm wishing you a good month with clear decisions, honest encounters, and a realization that you're actually doing something right. I'll see you in the next update. Until then, take care of yourselves. You are an important part of the picture. And if you enjoyed watching this video, press the like button and subscribe for the next updates.